In this video, we'll show you how to create a new detail page from an existing scaffold page. By the end of this video, you should be able to create a new detail page and either activate it if you have permissions or be able to send it through the workflow if you don't. So let's get started. To create a new detail page, you must already have a corresponding scaffold page created for it. The scaffold pages, as we've mentioned before, are the foundational elements inside of CQ that power all these different pages and sections of the website. So if you haven't already created a scaffold page, you'll need to do that first. Assuming you've already created your scaffold page, you'll find the corresponding section in the website you'd like to edit. In this case, I've gone to Caesars Global for the websites, Bally's Atlantic City Hotel, and in the Things to Do section. We're going to create a Things to Do sample for this tutorial. To create a new page, you'll go to New Page, and you'll scroll through the template pages to find the corresponding template. We're not creating a list page or a casino page or an event. We are creating a Things to Do activity detail page. So we'll select that. We'll name it. In this case, we're going to name it Test Page. And we'll click Create to begin the page creation process. There's the test page. You'll double click on it, and it will load in a separate tab. As you can see right there, it says you must specify a data source. That's what we'll do now. We'll go over to the Sidekick, into the Page Properties section. Page Properties can be found in the second tab. We'll click into it, and the Page Properties scaffold box will load. Since we already have an existing data source, we'll look it up here. You know where you've created your scaffold page. It's organized the exact same way that the left-hand sidebar is organized inside of CQ. So we'll go to Bally's Atlantic City, English for English, and we'll pick the bar at Harry's for this example. We'll click OK. We don't want to hide the mini booker. The mini booker will appear on most pages. There's hardly ever a reason to hide it unless you're creating a very specific page and you absolutely don't need it. You'll click OK. And the data source will load. And there you go. Because there's a scaffold page already created, you've pulled in that data source. Everything from the scaffold page has already loaded. The headline, featured image, the content that's been created for it, all of the details in the facts section. As you can see, we don't have a minimum of 3 secondary images, so the Why You'll Love It box hasn't loaded. If you did want that, you would go back to the scaffold page to edit it. As you can see, there's a lot of other ways that you can drag components on here. If you wanted to drag other components and you know the components well, you can search through the Components First tab in the Sidekick and drop something in there. We're not going to in this example because you don't need to for most detail pages. So that's really how easy it is. You won't need to do a lot if you want just a basic detail page. If you want more information, you can add reviews inside of the scaffold pages. And if you don't remember how to do all those, please click here for the tutorial video on how to edit within existing scaffold pages and existing detail pages. That's creating a page at its most basic. As you can see, it is really easy to create these detail pages. Once you've entered in the scaffold data source, if you have Activate properties, you would go to the second tab and click Activate. If you don't, you go to the Workflow tab and send it through the appropriate workflow. And that's it. For our next video, the ins and outs of components, please click here.